Welcome back to Snowrunner. The last few episodes have seen us scouting out some of the map in Smithville Dam. This has opened the map for us. So in this episode we're going to start clearing the northwest of the map of some of the tasks and contracts. So which ones are we taking on? It's definitely time that we complete the winter stores contract. We've had the maintenance trailer hanging around at the garage for a while now, so it's time to finish that one off. While we're over there, we'll also be completing solid foundation and taking a trip across the river. We'll take a slightly different route than we did when we were scouting the area. The little road that we used is going to be no good for our truck. So for winter stores we need to grab some vehicle spare parts from the service hub. But first, after our little foray to Drummond Island, we picked up a new upgrade. So let's install that now. If you saw the last episode, you'll know that we picked up an off-road gearbox. This is going to give us a greater range of gears to play with when we're off-road. But it also introduces another new gear, which is high gear. I'll talk a little bit about the new gears in this episode and the ones coming up. Let's get on our way to the service hub. Let's look at the gearbox symbol in the bottom right hand corner. You can immediately see that we've got a few more options. We've still got the trusty automatic, but you notice that I've immediately switched to high gear. This gearbox works in exactly the same way as the Snowrunner gearbox does. So if you've used that before, you'll be fine with this one. High gear gives you a slower speed, but generally uses a lot less fuel over the same distance as automatic. In my experience, anyway. We've also now got the high low gear and the low gear. This gearbox paired with the off-road tyres is going to make our life so much easier in Smithville Dam. So it's an upgrade that I'd encourage everyone to go and get as early as possible. Which is one of the reasons I've waited to complete contracts and tasks here in Smithville Dam. So I may have said this before, but when you're loading vehicle spare parts, just be really careful that you don't accidentally load the service spare parts. It's quite easy to get them both confused. I've definitely made the mistake of doing that before. You end up at the place where you've got to deliver them and realise you've got the wrong cargo. With the vehicle spare parts loaded, we're going to go to the garage, pick up the maintenance trailer and then make our way to the logistics base. Back to the gearbox. The other thing I've noticed about high gear is it allows you to make progress really easily, whereas with automatic it tends to switch through the gears, which slows you down. It's not so bad on tarmac, but that slowing down when it changes gears can make you lose traction when you're off-road. High gear allows you to plod on at one set speed, which helps keep traction. I've even found in some circumstances using high gear means that you can use all-wheel drive less. Give it a try out and see how it works for you. Let's hook up the maintenance trailer. Let's plan out our route. We're going to have to go via the farm. Then out to the logging station. We'll go to the right around the logging station. The off-road track is much better this way. The other thing of note is you might be tempted to take this path. While it is a lot quicker, there is a nasty area just before you reach the opening for the logistics base, where the ground tilts at about 45 degrees. If you're careful, you can do it, but I'm going to take the safer route to the south. It is a lot longer, but I don't want to tip my truck over and then either have to start winter stores again or mount a rescue effort. Now you've seen the route planned out, we'll get on our way and I'll hit overdrive. finally reached the logistics base. That was really quite a trek, and the terrain, though challenging at times, was easily overcome by the upgraded Fleetstar. As you'll be noticing, I'm going quite high on this side of the logistics base. The ground in the middle is really boggy and muddy, and I don't want to get stuck now. So I'm going to play it safe and come in from the top angle. As with other tasks and contracts of this nature, when you unload the cargo from the back of your truck, the trailer should disappear as well. And that's contract complete. It looks like drilling operations have been maintained, and we got quite a bit of experience and cash for that. I'm going to hit the show rewards button, and it looks like we've got a new warehouse available and a repair station. As you progress in the game, you'll have to unlock garages, warehouses and repair stations. The repair stations are definitely more important on maps that don't have garages, as it's not easy just to recover back to the garage. I've got to go and collect the solid foundation task, so let's do that now. For the solid foundation task, we have to bring a concrete slab to Norton's house. Let's open up the task menu. If we click on the concrete slab, you can see there's one at the drilling site. Also in red, it says truck with crane recommended. Luckily enough, I have one of those fitted. Let's change the time. That's better. And let's get on our way. Mentioning cranes, you might notice that I generally always have one attached to my truck. I've always found this quite useful, so I always make sure one of my trucks is fitted with a crane. For the trip to the drilling site, I'll hit overdrive and I'll see you when we arrive. That little fuel trailer has been invaluable. I wouldn't be able to carry out the operations that I do without it being there. That's one of the main reasons why I brought it down while I was doing my scouting. Okay, on with the task. I've found the concrete slab. I just want to get into a position where it's safe to lift it up. Concrete slabs being a 2-slot type of cargo is really heavy, and there is a risk if you use your crane that you might tip yourself over. So get yourself in a nice stable position before you try and lift it. The rills that are on the right of me are causing me a few issues. I keep getting stuck on them. I'll sort myself out in a minute. This looks like a better angle. When stationary or operating your crane, it's always a good idea to switch your diff lock and all-wheel drive off. You'll notice straight away that you use less fuel. Let's deploy the anchor. I'm not sure if you guys suffer the same problem. It happens with the winch and the crane. If I don't fix my view beforehand, I can neither attach the crane to the cargo or use my winch. I don't know if this is because I'm using a steering wheel, but if you're encountering problems attaching to cargo or even using your winch, try fixing your view before you try and attach. I'm using the winch here instead of lifting the arm, as I seem to have got it in a good position. Now it's at a good height. I'll use the crane to slowly edge it into position. The game itself allows you a little bit of leeway when you're loading cargo, so don't be too strict on yourself when you're loading. Again, I'm going to use the winch to lower it into position. That's not too badly loaded. Now all we need to do is pack the cargo and repack the crane, and then we can make our way back to Norton's house. Here's the route back, if you've forgotten that. We'll get all-wheel drive and diff lock back on. And off we go. I'm trying to avoid most of the mud with a hopefully slightly skillful 3-point turn. Done. We'll go into overdrive again and I'll see you at Norton's house. We've got Norton's house in sight. Just need to negotiate this tricky bend. I'll try and make sure I get in the right box this time. No, need to go to the other one. Not having a yellow box around the target area, or having it almost invisible, really did throw me off there. All's well that ends well. And that's task complete. The next task we're going to take on is called Across the River. We have to go back to the drilling site for this one. So I'll do a cutaway and I'll see you at the drilling site. This is where the curtainside trailer is located. I'll just hook it up and then we'll get on our way. This can be a tricky little task with plenty of opportunity to tip both your truck and trailer, but also end up in a watery grave. If it helps, I'm going to show you the way that I tried to complete this task. There are still a few tippy moments, but I feel this way minimises them. So, what do we have to do? We have to drag the trailer across the water there and onto the island. Where my mouse pointer is, this looks like the easiest way, but what I do is I come from this direction. As I mentioned, I find it slightly less tippy than the other way. I'll let this sequence run at normal time so you can get a good look at the way I go. I'll also hopefully give some little tips while we're moving so you don't encounter any pitfalls. It's best to keep low gear, all-wheel drive and diff lock activated as you're pulling this trailer across the mud. It will stop your wheels spinning and help you keep traction, as you'll definitely feel the weight you're pulling with this trailer. If you're enjoying what you're seeing and you think that I'm doing a good job, please consider hitting the like and subscribe buttons. They really do help the channel grow and of course will allow me to keep doing this content for you guys. Thank you if you do hit those buttons. Okay, as we start descending down this hill, watch out for the tree stumps. If you get caught on those, it will really ruin your day, as they can get wedged under your truck, and once that happens it's almost impossible to get it off again. This part of the hill's not that steep, but you're going to have a big gradient change in just a second. This is the worst part of this way, but if you take it so that it's straight on, you should just bump down and stay reasonably stable. Take it slowly as the trailer descends and then hook a hard right. The angle on the shore isn't too bad, but just be careful with your trailer. Onto the water crossing. You can just see some rocks underneath the surface. What you need to do is pick your way across using the rocks to keep you above the water. If you go to either side of the path, you will end up in deep water, literally. This one's really difficult to do in cab view, so I suggest coming outside your truck and just looking where the rocks are so you can find your way across safely. There's a little drop off at the end. Just be careful that you don't get into any tippy situations with your truck or trailer. I find this bit here is the smoothest. Once you're on the island, it's a simple pull to the finish. The completion of this task will bring an end to this episode. We've managed to complete 1 contract and 2 tasks in this one. In the next episode, we'll be looking to complete another 3 tasks. So, until then, take care and bye for now.